said that he is expecting the BJP-led coalition government to form the next government in Meghalaya. Ravinder,
फ्रैक्चर्ड मैंडेट की बात करते हैं तो बीजेपी वाले इसको भली भांति जानते हैं, क्योंकि 2 एमएलए उनका लास्ट इलेक्शन में था और इस बार वो चाहते हैं कि संख्या को बढ़ाएं। उनको एहसास है कि इस बार भी जो खंडित जनादेश होगा, फ्रैक्चर्ड मैंडेट जिसकी बात आप कर रहे हैं, उनको पूरी तरह से एहसास है और इसलिए वो पब्लिक मीटिंग में भी ये बातें खुलेआम कहते हैं। लेकिन दूसरी पार्टियों को आपने देखा होगा कि वो खुलेआम नहीं कहते हैं, वो कहते हैं कि अपने दम पर सरकार बनाएंगे। लेकिन बीजेपी को एहसास है कि सरकार बनाएंगे कैसे, क्योंकि सभी पार्टियां अपने दम पर लगभग 60 सीटों पर चुनाव लड़ रही हैं। इसमें फ्रैक्चर्ड मैंडेट होना ही है, खंडित जनादेश होना ही है। यहां पर अब सवाल खड़ा होता है कि चुनाव नतीजों के बाद क्या स्थिति पैदा होगी। अब ज्यादा समय नहीं बचा है। उसमें बीजेपी का अर्नेस्ट मावरी की आपने बात, अर्नेस्ट मावरी शुरू से ये कहते रहे हैं कि बीजेपी की भूमिका होगी। बीजेपी की भूमिका क्या होगी ये देखने वाली बात होगी। बीजेपी किसके साथ भूमिका निभाएगी, कौन पार्टी बीजेपी के नजदीक आएगी, ये सबसे बड़ा सवाल है।
Absolutely, Ravinder. And on that note, as we are speaking of 3 heavyweights, let's also talk about another heavyweight and someone who is a veteran politician from Meghalaya, none other than the former Chief Minister Mukul Sangma. So we have some reactions coming in from Mukul Sangma at this point in time. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
We are with us former Meghalaya Chief Minister Dr. Mukul Sangma, who is TMC leader. Well, sir, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good, more relaxed, waiting for the mandate. And let's see what the people speak.
How do you predict the mandate?
Well, as anticipated, I have full faith and confidence in the people of the state, and we look forward for their mandate.
Will TMC come out with the magic number?
We're looking for that. I think something which is beyond our expectation. The pulse of the people, which is quite palpable across the state as we travel far and wide across the state and connected with the people. You have seen it for yourself. The TMC flag flying high almost everywhere.
So in case alliance is needed, which parties TMC will ally with?
Let's look at the political dynamics that will unfold after the mandate of the people, and let's respect the mandate of the people.
Well, sir, in Meghalaya, it has always been seen that election is always a gentleman's game, but this time we have seen war of words between parties, between leaders, between the Sangmas. So what do you feel about it? Was it only a political narrative during election which will evaporate after the polls?
It is not. It is not. If you reconnect with the preceding years, post 2018 election, you will see that whether it is outside the house or inside the assembly, there has been insistent effort from the side of the opposition to draw the attention of the government, to take cognizance of issues involving the interests of the people, involving the interests of the state. But there has been, the usual prompt denial from the side of the government pertaining to various issues of alleged irregularities, alleged corruptions.
So in case you need an alliance, will the Sangmas come together?
I don't want to say that, okay, I don't want to engage in that attitude of holier than thou. But the fact is that the present incumbent government, led by the incumbent chief minister, is neck deep in alleged corruption of unprecedented scale. Tell me one thing, which nation which has been corrupt has been able to sustain democracy?
So whom do you think will be a main opponent in this election?
In Khasils, it's the regional parties. In Garoils, it's the NPP.
BJP not a factor?
BJP in some pockets, 1 or 2. That's all.
And what about your old party, Congress?
Congress party has, because we have not have gone aggressively or hammer and tongs against Congress, the grand old party. So the pockets which have existed there can definitely regenerate and show their presence, and it is there. Palpable presence is there in some pockets.
All right, so viewers, that was, of course, the former Chief Minister and TMC leader Mukul Sangma speaking to reporters right after he cast his vote. So, and at the same time, while we're talking, while we are on the topic of senior leaders, let's also look at another leader who is a very, very popular leader, not just in Nagaland, but in the entire country. Someone whose mention has been made by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, saying that he too is a follower and a fan of Temjen Imna Along, the Nagaland BJP president. So he has always been known as someone who does things differently, who does things, differently from the way other people normally do. So here is another example of the same. Take a look.
Election tu sah. Teman tu lah. Aku baik. Bukan mama sawat.
So there you have it, viewers. That was, of course, the BJP president of Nagaland, Temjen Imna Along, once again doing things a little differently from the way that most politicians or most people do, as a matter of fact. And there we saw him playing carom with his supporters, and someone who is carefree, not really bogged down by the tensions and pressures of polling day, and once again playing carom, a game of carom with his supporters. So Ravinder, this is someone who has always been known to do things differently. थोड़ा हटके इनके चाल है. तो obviously this is also an example of that very same thing, Ravinder.
जी बिल्कुल रौनक, आज की तारीख में अगर हम देखें तो दीमापुर और नागालैंड से जो चेहरा सामने आता है राष्ट्रीय पटल पर, यानी जो दूसरे राज्यों के लोग अगर नागालैंड में किसी नेता को आज पहचान रहे हैं तो तेमजन इम्ना आलोंग है, क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया का जमाना है और सोशल मीडिया पर काफी छाए रहते हैं और जो भी पोस्ट करते हैं काफी चुटीला होता है, उसमें एक हंसी मजाक का एक लहजा होता है जिसे वो लोगों से कनेक्ट करते हैं और इसी के जरिए वो नागालैंड की तस्वीर भी पेश करते हैं, जिससे लोगों को लगता है कि नागालैंड कितना खूबसूरत है। आप देखिए कि कभी वहाँ की कृषि की बात हो जो दूसरे लोग नहीं जानते हैं वो भी सोशल मीडिया पर पोस्ट करते हैं, और धान की खेती हो या दूसरी जो आर्ट है नागालैंड के जो कल्चर हैं वो भी पोस्ट करते हैं, और कभी कभी अपने मोटापा पर भी खुद ही हंसी उड़ाते हैं। तो इससे भी लोगों को वो कनेक्ट करते हैं कि वो अपने जो आदमी अपने ऊपर हंस सकता है तो वो दुनिया को भी हंसा सकता है। तो लोगों को जोड़ने में काफी भूमिका रही है तेमजन इम्ना आलोंग की, लेकिन इस बार वो परीक्षा में बैठ रहे हैं और परीक्षा का नतीजा जल्द ही आने वाला है। देखना होगा कि लोग कितना उनके साथ हैं।
Absolutely, very, very rightly said, Ravinder. This is someone who has done things differently always, and why not? If this is something that is putting Nagaland on the map, if this is something that is bringing this northeastern state of recognition all throughout the country, if not the world, and if it is something that is getting the personal attention of the Prime Minister himself, then why not? Temjen Imna Along, you are someone who needs to just keep doing what you're doing, and more power to you. So on this note, let us look at some other reactions coming in from some of the prominent candidates as well as some of the prominent leaders in this election. First of all, let us take a look at what Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Conrad Sangma's sister Agatha Sangma, had to say while reacting to media persons. Take a look.
We have with us Lok Sabha MP from Tura constituency, Agatha Sangma. You have toured the entire length and breadth of Meghalaya before the elections. So how do you see the mood on ground?
I think that since I've been to most of the constituencies, I am very positive and I believe that we are going to come out with flying colors. NPP is going to form the government as a single largest majority, and we are very confident of that.
Talking about that point only, Meghalaya has always witnessed a fractured mandate. So do you feel there will be a change in this scenario this time?
It looks like, because people have realized what a stable government can give them in these 5 years. Though we were a coalition, it was a very stable government. So I think that this time people are going to come largely to vote for a stable government, for a government that brings peace and the government that brings development. And I think that NPP has proved itself to be that option that allows people to live in peace and give development, which is the responsibility of the government.
Well, talking about this election, Meghalaya has always been seen as a state where election used to be a gentleman's game, but this time we have seen war of words between parties, between leaders. Chief Minister, your brother Conrad Sangma has attacked Mukul Sangma about his party. In fact, Mukul Sangma has attacked your brother Conrad Sangma, saying that he's racial, he's uncivilized. And BJP also went ahead to say that Meghalaya is a corrupt state. So, what do you feel about this scenario this time?
Well, it's very unfortunate that sometimes leaders, have to campaign on a negative mode. But I think that NPP as a party, we've always maintained a much more positive campaign. We've talked more about what we have to offer as a party, the kind of development we have done, the kind of peace that has come about in Meghalaya. So those are the issues that, if you see my campaign, if you see the candidates' campaigns, you'll see that our campaigns have always been positive. And other parties, it's not in my hands. If my brothers has said anything, it is only to respond to the accusations made against him.
Well, war of word continues in election, but post-election, if need arises, party allies also.
I mean, that is the way sometimes things work, but that does never mean that we compromise on what we believe in. And we have certain beliefs as a party, and we have certain um, promises that we have made that we are going to deliver, and those are things we are not going to compromise on.
You are confident that NPP will come out as the single largest party and form the government in case it needs support of other parties post-election, which party it will ally with.
See, that is something that is not in my hands to decide and to sort of talk about right now. Let the time come, let the results come, and then we will see how the which path to follow. I mean, being in politics, you need to also be able to adapt sometimes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was the Lok Sabha MP from Tura constituency, Agatha Sangma, speaking exclusively to Northeast Live. Reporting from Tura with camera person Novo, this is Arindam Das for Northeast Live.
All right, so that was the sister of incumbent Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Conrad Sangma, Agatha Sangma, speaking exclusively to our Chief of Bureau, Arindam Das. It's time for another very short break here, viewers. Don't go anywhere, because coming up next, all the live coverage from Meghalaya and Nagaland as we count down to the official conclusion of a voting day, which is going to take place at 4 p.m. So stay tuned for all of that and more.